Thank you for joining our webinar today, where we'll be addressing a key opportunity lots of clients come to us with, how to get off Excel and onto a more structured project planning tool like Planner or Microsoft Project. Let's get started. My name is Annie Levand, and I'm with a Microsoft Gold partner called Progility. We've been implementing Microsoft Project and portfolio management solutions and developing enterprise-level applications for over 19 years for large enterprises, including everything from engineering, construction, IT, and new product development. PMOs and CIOs typically come to us when they can't easily explain what's going on across all their projects. They don't know what resources are working on what work, and they have a hard time getting consistent reports, metrics, and dashboards to make project-based decisions. We're known for having a 90% on-time, on-budget track record for successfully implementing these solutions for clients. We offer services and solutions in three core areas: deployment and consulting services, Progility's core business. We provide professional services for successfully planning and implementing Microsoft Project Portfolio Management, including Microsoft Project Online, Project for the Web, soon to be Planner, integrating PPM with line of business applications, and delivering strategic portfolio management solutions support top-level management planning. Fragility also offers a set of Hammerhead pre-built software solutions and accelerators based upon 19 years of experience, including a set of Hammerhead products that can provide improved access to your cloud PPM data, accelerate access to visual reports and dashboards using Power BI, connect data between your PPM system with Microsoft Teams, and extend connectivity into Active Directory to improve visibility, insight, and control of your work, people, and projects. New to our offerings is Hammerhead Power Pro, which is a pre-built solution crafted on the foundation of the Microsoft Power Platform and Project for the Web, along with a new planner. This offering is designed to bring some of our lessons learned on this platform to your organization. Finally, Progility provides post-implementation support services, including expert care, designed to assist your PMO with gaining on-demand expertise on the solution supported. We have a full online automated e-learning offering that can improve consistency and adoption for your users of your project management tools. You can learn more about all of our services and solutions on our recently updated website, progility.com. We have upcoming webinars covering sessions on best practices for Project, the new planner, Microsoft's AI Engine Copilot, and PPM processes and tools. Also, we're hosting our 6th annual virtual project conference in October. We'll have a set of speakers sharing good practices and lessons learned around these solutions. You won't want to miss it. Sign up for this and all of our events at Progility's Eventbrite page, following the link here. All videos from this and previous series are available on our best practice playlist on YouTube listed on this page. Topics range from managing your digital transformation program using PPM technologies to integrating PPM with agile and line of business applications. Feel free to subscribe and access the library at any time and share with your colleagues. If you have any questions as you watch the presentation, please log them into the questions and answer manager at the top of your team screen, and we'll review those towards the end of our session. With that, I'll hand the presentation off to Rob Hirschman, partner here at Progility. Rob, you're up.
Thanks, Andy, and thanks everyone for joining today. Today, we're tackling a topic that's near and dear to a lot of folks on the line today. A lot of people won't admit it, but they do use Microsoft Excel to manage their projects. So we're going to go through and give you an overview of why people use Excel to manage their projects, some of the different Microsoft solution options for getting off of Excel onto more formal project and work management solutions, give you a demonstration and some options here so you can kind of help visualize the possible, and also give you some guidance for getting started. If you are thinking about moving to one of these solutions, what are some of the planning considerations, things you want to think about? Let's really start out with, why do people use Microsoft Excel to manage their projects? The first thing is it's super easy. Anybody can use Excel, can also use Microsoft, can build out a work plan and track it in Excel. It's a super easy tool to use because the spreadsheets are very open and allow you to do whatever you want. And most people are familiar and comfortable with Excel. Also, it's free. Most folks already own Excel on their desktop and own it through their Office 365 subscription, so they have access to it. So they don't have to worry about licensing solutions. It also is because people can easily share the information with other people without having to worrying about different rules and guidelines, which can also be a drawback. So it's easy to take an Excel file and ship it over to 2 or 3 or 4 people and let them view and update that. Very easy to share. You can also go in and change things anytime you want without having to worry about permissions and access and stuff like that. So again, it gets back to the concept of it's very easy and very, very flexible. Also, and one of the reasons a lot of people use Excel or default to Excel is because it doesn't move things around when you make a change to your schedule in any way. So if I go make a change to 3 or 4 or 5 tasks or dates, it isn't going to flow down and change 5 or 6 dates after that. unless you've built some very unique logic into your Excel sheet, it's not going to do that. And a lot of people like that. It means they have full control over their work plan or their schedule. Additionally, when you do share that information with folks, everybody knows how to read an Excel file. It's pretty common knowledge on how you go into an Excel file and understand and visualize the data, understand what's there. And finally, if I want to get a report of some kind, I don't have to worry about a third-party reporting tool. At the end of the day, Excel is a spreadsheet that has the ability to do graphing and charting within it. So I can just graph and chart from there. Just take a bunch of data, highlight it, type into my Copilot engine or type into help or look at charts and graphs, and it can create a dashboard or a bunch of reports for me. So Excel is relatively easy to use. That's really the driver why a lot of people move to Excel. In fact, having been in this business for about 22 years now, we found it generally is the #1 project management tool in the world. It sounds really silly, but the competition Microsoft Project has in the market and Planner now really is Excel, and people using Excel to manage their projects because of all the reasons listed here. But there are some drawbacks when you start thinking about it. Things like it's easy and it's free on the left. No real drawback to that. Easily sharing files with people, absolutely no drawback to that. But the next one down, which we just talked about, when we change things, we can change them anytime we want. That's really great. But in a project management world, anytime anyone goes in and makes a change to the data or the format, or the formula underneath that, without letting maybe the manager know about it, could screw up the whole schedule and the whole Excel sheet. Then you have to kind of reverse engineer it by looking back at multiple versions. There's really no source control or data controls around an Excel spreadsheet unless you build a really custom application on top of it. So that's one of the drawbacks of using it. The next one, it doesn't move my stuff around, which is great for a lot of project managers. But the challenge is on the right, it doesn't natively do any kind of project scheduling calculations that would be useful for a project manager. If you think about what the project manager is managing on a day-to-day basis beyond customer expectations, it's the triple constraint: schedule, scope, timeline, resources, all of those things together. And if I plug something into one area, I expect project to change things in another area, right? In an Excel spreadsheet, it's not the same thing at all. So if I go in and I add in dates, I don't resource load a schedule. If I don't do some of those things in an Excel sheet, I'm not going to ever know it. In a project scheduling tool, when I forecast a date change, if I plug in, my start date on the project just moved back a week, it'll flow down and show you the entire schedule impact if you have 1, 550, or 500 tasks. It's really useful to have a scheduling tool. It also doesn't support Excel any kind of resource loading. If I put 1 or 2 or 3 people on a task and then I go in and I progress their work, Excel doesn't break that out. Tools like project and project scheduling tools do. It doesn't naturally give you a visual timeline as well, a Gantt chart in any way. So if I have a project that goes over 3 months and I want to see the Gantt chart and look at progress, Excel's not going to do that for me without me kind of creating or kludging it together. And finally, scheduling tools have a concept of a baseline. Baselines are really, really useful for tracking your progress. In an Excel spreadsheet, you don't have that. It's always a fluid set of information unless you're creating snapshots of spreadsheets and comparing them. It gets very, very complicated. You're almost reverse engineering what it takes to build a scheduling tool. So that's one of the drawbacks of using Excel. Everybody knowing how to read an Excel file, absolutely no drawback to that. That's easy. The reporting side that's built in, so while Excel does have basic charting and graphing, it's only based on right now, this Excel sheet right now. There's no easy way to go across Excel sheets to do any kind of reporting without putting an analytics layer on top of that. Additionally, you can't do any kind of performance reporting, kind of a red, yellow, green, looking at where you are versus where you should have been, comparing things like dates and baselines, things traditional project management tools have that Excel doesn't have. Also, there's some drawbacks down at the bottom where spreadsheets just aren't going to help. Excel has no concept of what we call a calendar to apply. So when I start a project in a project management tool, I build out a calendar. So if I schedule work and there's no work that day, it's going to move that work to the next day. Pretty logical. Excel doesn't know how to do that. It's not really built based on a calendar. It's a spreadsheet really for financial and number kind of data. Excel also has no concept of resources or what we call assignments. In a project management tool, we go and we can assign 1, 2, 3, 10 people to a task. It's going to break that out into something called an assignment. Each of those resources has that assignment and a certain number of work or hours associated with it. Excel is not going to do that. And that's really useful if you're trying to forecast out when things are going to finish and who's working and what their progress is, which is part of that triple constraint management. And finally, Excel doesn't provide the ability to do any kind of notifications of changes or reminders. It's a constantly running spreadsheet. So if I were to go into a project management tool and make a change to a date, I could have that project management tool actually send out notifications and let people know dates have changed. And that would flow all the way through my schedule versus me having to reverse engineer this through an entire spreadsheet. So while Excel is really good and really easy, there are some drawbacks to using Excel for a project management tool, which is why a lot of people look at Microsoft technologies beyond Excel. So what are those technologies? The team at Microsoft builds three unique services in Office 365, really designed to take you from basic work management through collaborative work and project management, through enterprise work and project management as well. And starting down at the bottom, for people who are more in the business, kind of managing tasks and activities, we have Microsoft Planner. And Planner is a Kanban visual task management tool available in Office 365. It comes with your Office 365 subscription, so you don't need to buy anything else other than that. And it's very visual and easy to use. The next tool up, it used to be called Project for the Web, and it's being transitioned right now over to something called the New Planner with premium functionality. This is a basic web-based project management and project scheduling tool, all available through Office 365. It's really designed for the casual or accidental project manager. Those are folks that are maybe in the business that need to manage projects, but aren't formal project managers. And that role has really expanded over the last couple of years as folks outside of IT get into managing projects in marketing or operations or finance or human resources. They still need a tool, and they find project management tools to be overly complex. And that's really where the New Planner Premium is really focused on that marketplace. And it gives you the ability to kind of add on functionality using something called the Microsoft Power Platform. Finally, at the top, Microsoft offers its full project and portfolio management solution, more akin to an IT PMO, enterprise governance, enterprise workflows to do project, portfolio, and resource management. So you have different options. And Microsoft has recently announced a change in November. This change has rolled out to all the commercial organization tenants, and it'll soon be rolling out to the government community cloud or GCC tenants. They've actually changed Project for the Web in the middle over to be a flavor of Planner. So there'll be less confusion about what is project and what is planner. Planner will take you from basic work management, visual task management, through lighter or mid-weight project management. And then those tools are combined together. So you can have one or the other or use both in your environment. Project Online, Project Server, as well as Project Professional on the desktop will continue to live on as a PPM solution. So you really have three options here. We're going to talk about what those options are and the benefits of them if you're moving from Excel over to a Microsoft Work or project management tool. So let's look at the benefits of each option. If we start with Planner, that is the visual Kanban solution for managing everyday work. Good things. Anybody can go in and use it. It's very easy. It's very visual. It's basically a task list that has a Kanban board behind it and allows you to aggregate and share that information, set up notifications. It has a predefined visual structure to it. So every planner plan will look exactly the same, which makes it easy for people to get in and build additional plans. Also to learn. It's easy to share with people in Office 365. Your M365 team members or guest users can come in, collaborate. You can set up things like notifications on late tasks or tasks that are coming due, and it'll roll all that up. And now it's fully integrated with Microsoft Teams, which is what a lot of people use on a day-to-day basis. The My Tasks area, so I can see all of my tasks, all the planner tasks roll up there, and also an area called Assigned to Me, show me all the tasks that are assigned to me, not just in Planner, but across different applications. So Planner, one of the benefits, several benefits here, it's easy to use, easy to learn, very intuitive. And again, it comes with your Office 365 subscription, so there's not really a cost associated with it beyond that. We then move up to that New Planner with premium functionality. Some of the real benefits of this are the same as what you see below. And this is one of the reasons Microsoft rebranded this and incorporated this into the Planner suite. It has additional features. It allows you to easily transition from a planner plan at the bottom to a more structured premium functionality plan in the middle, which is really, really great news. I start with something basic. I want to make it into a formal project. I can click a button and I can do that. We're going to show you how you can do that in the tool. It also includes basic scheduling tools and functionality required for project management. Things like a timeline, a Gantt chart, things like resource loading, things like dates and milestones and their dependencies. They're there, but in a very easy to use, user-friendly kind of way. It is very Excel-like in its user interface in terms of how you update data. So it's going to look and feel very familiar for anybody using Excel or Office 365. It also gives the ability to extend this out if you want to build an app in the Power Platform to capture information beyond what's in your planner plan, your schedule. Things like that could be issues or risks or changes or costs or any of that stuff. You can build that into a Power App and then extend that out and report off all of this. The data that's in the New Planner Premium functionality is all available for reporting in Power BI. So you can have dashboards and reports and deliver those to different users across all your projects, unlike, again, Excel. And it is integrated now with Microsoft's AI engine Copilot. So you can start to ask it questions, have it proactively provide you with guidance, act and build plans for you. Those use cases are emerging now. It's in preview right now, but it is available in the commercial cloud. So some of the benefits really of using New Planner Premium are right there. Finally, Project Professional, the traditional desktop client, along with the matching Project Online service for full PPM. There's benefits of this as well. If you were looking for full, robust desktop and web-based scheduling, that's really what the Project Desktop client has always done since its inception almost 3.5 decades ago. It supports imports and exports from Excel. So I can take my Excel sheet, import it into Project Professional, build a project off of that. I can also export any of the data out. These schedules are also portable and they can be exported into different formats. So I can export it into Visio. I can put it back in Excel, as we mentioned. I can create a PDF with it. I can put it in any other format I want. Portable data. The data is all available for both desktop reporting and Power BI reporting, which is really, really nice. So again, you can get cross-project or within project reports, and you can integrate this with Microsoft Teams, just like the two tools below it. There's really benefits of looking at these three tools as potential replacements for Excel. It really depends on where you are from a use and maturity perspective. So what we thought we'd do now is actually show you some of these tools and show you how you could kind of get started with them and move forward getting off of Excel. But let's start with Excel. Our good friend Excel, a lot of people go and they build their first project in Excel and they get kind of hooked on this because it's really easy to use. You can see here I'm in an Excel spreadsheet and I've got the different columns here for tasks. I've got assigned to, who the person that's going to be working on the task is. I've got the progress, maybe percent complete. I've got duration, how long it's going to take. I've got things like start and end date. Maybe I'm creating a predecessor column, what comes before and after what, but there's really no logic here. If I were to change something in a date here, it's not necessarily going to change something here unless I create logic in my spreadsheet. And by the way, if someone goes in and changes that or puts a hard codes of data in, it's going to blow your whole spreadsheet up. Over here, I've created just a visual timeline. And a lot of people do this. They have days or weeks or months, and they create different color codes. And then they could put little notes and comments in here as well. So this is a basic project schedule built in Excel. You can see I have a hierarchy of a phase, like initiation. Then below initiation, I'm defining my goals, conducting my studies. I'm creating that hierarchy as I work through my project. So I may start this thing in June. It's probably going to end sometime in August, these first two phases. So that's really Excel working as project management. You may have a flavor of this you've used. Again, it's really easy to default to. Let's first talk about Planner. So if we go into Planner, I'm just going to come into Office 365. I'm going to go to the Planner app here. This is also available in Teams, which we're going to show you. You know, when I come into Planner, what I would do is I would typically start a new plan, and then I would go and I'd start listing out my tasks or activities there. Now, to speed things up, what we've done is we've taken that schedule we had in Excel, we've brought it out in here into Planner. And so what you'll see here in this Planner plan, this is the example Excel project number 2. We've got all the same tasks we have over in Excel. Set up the team, define the goals, conduct the studies. But you see, one of the challenges with Planner is there's really no hierarchy. It's a series of tasks and activities. So, you know, how do we actually get that beyond that flat structure? Is what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the boards. And in Planner boards, this is our Kanban board. This is what's going to start to allow us to give it structure. So when we're working through our lighter project, we can communicate different stages or phases. And you can see here, I've got initiation phase. I've got a planning and design phase, execution and evaluation. These different Planner board buckets, they're called, are mapped specifically to our phases. And I can see during initiation, I need to set up the team, define the goals, conduct the studies, establish the comms, whatever those things are. And then on each task here, as it works, I can do in progress. I can make it a priority. I can change the dates. I can put in notes on it. I can even create checklist items and say I've got 3 or 4 things to do actually to complete this task. And finally, I can add attachments to this. Okay. So this is our Planner plan working. These are our boards. It's going to give us that structure. What Planner also offers is what we call a schedule view. And this is more of a calendar view than anything else. So if I come over here, because I'm putting dates into my Planner plan, I can now visualize these on a calendar view or a timeline. And I can start to see, you know, if I had tasks over here and I want to drag them over, I can drag them over and assign them on different dates. So it's very visual. It's very easy. Again, for someone in the business that's just looking to manage a very light project or a series of tasks or activities. And again, I can go and I can update progress right here. Okay. And that's the core of Planner. A couple other things with Planner that are really useful. If I wanted to, I could actually come here and export this to Excel. If I have people that really love Excel and they want to look at an Excel. If I want to actually copy a link and allow people to get into it, I do have the members of the group and I can extend this to other people so they could come and access it. And then over here, there's a couple of other tabs here that are important. I can add my plan to my Outlook calendar. So it'll actually show these dates on my Outlook calendar if I wanted to track it there and not clutter up my calendar too much. But one of the really nice things is I've got a button here that says copy plan to project. And this is a little bit of magic that Microsoft created, little software magic, that what it does, it takes your Planner plan And it's now, if I have a proper license, a project plan one or a planner plan one license, as it's called now, it's going to take that and it's actually going to create a planner with premium functionality plan that I can start managing as more of a formal structured project. So this is kind of the level 2 up, the middle tier. It says my plan is ready. The plan is a copy of original, so changes won't affect the original. So the original one is still over in the Microsoft Planner. If some of the dates were moved, the original dates on your plan may have added custom columns, and then we close it. So now we have the basic structure of our project here. Okay, and what we can start doing is we can go over to our grid view, and you'll see it's pulled over the basic information. I've got the tasks, set up a team, define the goals, conduct the studies. I've got information here, the resources. So it's actually pulled over Sunny and Sarah and Tom and Todd. So it's actually assigned the people that are assigned to different activities to the different tasks. It's given me a start and a finish date. It's also given a duration, so it's pulling that over. A bucket, so I'm actually importing this in either from Planner, if I have the data, or directly I'm bringing it in from project. And priority. So you'll see I've got that here, and I'm just going to go over to a little version I saved before this. We go here. Our webinar today. Project for webinar. Let's pull this up here. And you'll see here we can move things. So actually, if I've already completed certain tasks or activities, it's going to show them as completed, defining the goals. But what I can start doing is creating a hierarchy. So if I wanted to, I could come up here and I could say insert the task above, or I can indent or subdent a task here. I have the ability to do these different things. And I can make this a subtask, and I can make this a subtask. And now I'm creating the hierarchy that I had in my Excel sheet so that it actually reflects how the flow of my project is going to go. I have a parent task here, and then I've got a series of subtasks. Subtask, phase complete. Now I've got planning and design, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. You can see I'm building that hierarchy out of my project, and then what it's going to do is going to aggregate that information. So I know an initiation, I start, I finish, because all the tasks below it are there. That becomes my phase, my level 1, and then I've got my level 2 here. Okay, so I can also go and I can add different people. If I look at assigned to here, what I can do is I can look at my group members, and I can say, well, I want to add Sunny, maybe add Sarah and Todd, my project. And now what I can do is for certain tasks, maybe for setting up my team, I want to assign Sarah. Maybe down here when I create my schedule, I want to assign Sunny. So I can actually do these assignments, and those people will actually be notified now that they've been assigned to a certain task and activity. And if they have an Office 365 license, they can come in, view the project, but also update their progress on that particular activity. So this is a really nice way to go and move into more of a formal structure of a project, but it doesn't have to be a large project. I mean, this project here only has 30 or 40 tasks. You see, I'm building out the work plan here in my grid. Then I have my Kanban board, but I also have a timeline, and the timeline is really useful. Once we move to a formal project management tool, we want to start thinking in terms of Gantt charts. The calendars are very hard to manage because you're going to have a lot of overlapping tasks, but now I can create relationships. I can say establishing comms comes before developing the charter. Developing the charter runs right into this milestone. And by the way, this milestone here, if I go to this, drives this. So then I can actually start saying this drives this. And then I can drag and drop these. So I create relationships between different tasks and activities in my project. So that if something were to slip here, if task 9 were to slip, look what happens to all the tasks after it. They should actually push out if I had a delay of any kind. What I can do is I can drag and drop that over, and I can determine the impact of these. So more of a project schedule than an actual spreadsheet or a list of tasks, independent tasks. And then I can create different dependency types here if I want. If I click on the task, I can see it depends on something and it's immediate. Does it have a lead or a lag? Is it a finish to start? Maybe it's a start to start. It starts when the other one starts. And then I can add other components here of the task. So it includes more basic scheduling functionality than I had in Excel or in Planner. It also has a Kanban board. So if I wanted to drag and drop and create different buckets, I don't really need the phase buckets anymore, if you think about it. But now I can actually drag and drop, next up, in progress. And if something's done, it's going to cross it out maybe as completed. Okay. And finally, if we come over here, we also have a people tab. So this is when we talk about assigning different tasks to people. You can see Sarah is assigned to certain tasks. I can take tasks here and assign them to her by dragging and drop them over. Again, this is the new Planner Premium, which used to be called Project for the Web. I can create those assignments, and now Sarah and Sunny will be notified, and they can come in and view and update those. Finally, and one of the big things, if you have the Plan 3 license, it allows you to do what we call assignments. So assignments start to break it down, if you want to, down to the people, the tasks, and when they're assigned the work. And you don't have to do it at this level of detail. Behind the scenes, project is doing it anyway. But if you wanted to say monitoring progress, 8 hours, well, I found out she's only going to work 4 hours this day, but she's going to do 4 hours the next available day, the Monday, then I can spread that work out to more accurately reflect the work that's being done. And then that's going to summarize when the work's going to get done. So instead of finishing on 5.3, that task now finishes on 5.6, which pushes the next task as well. So using the new Planner Premium functionality allows you to do this. The other nice thing about it is it lets you report. This data is all available for reporting. So if you wanted to provide maybe a dashboard here in Power BI, we're in Power BI, that shows all the projects, and maybe you just want to see the projects, how much effort is involved in a specific project, you could click on that. And now you can see that project, who owns it, the start date, the finish date, the progress, the effort. It's bringing the basic project management data together that you couldn't really get easily in Excel. We're using Power BI to look at that data because it's all stored in a database called the Dataverse. Or maybe you want a manager comes to you and says, I really want to see a timeline view of all the projects we have going on. Well, a Power BI report could do that. And each of these lines here is a different project that has data behind it. And then you can simply hover over it. Now I can say I've got 20 projects going on in our marketing group or operations group. Here's what they are. And by the way, here's the progress. Come anytime you want and take a look. Okay. Or you could create a milestone report. And if you have something called a 0 day in your project schedule, then you could create milestones, and I can look across all the milestones across all my projects and see when they're due, if they're overdue. And finally, we talked about the importance. If you did want to assign people to tasks and activities, you could look at what we call resource assignments. This report and dashboard in Power BI is going to show us how many total hours we have assigned to people, what projects are consuming the hours, and then, by the way, show me, all the people working on this project here. And it looks like it's Sarah Davis, who's working on the asset management project, and here's her tasks on that project. Because we're doing assignments, assigning people to tasks, we can not only see that, but we could also provide an overview of all the tasks and see what tasks are late on a specific project without having to go into each detailed project schedule. In this case, it would have been an Excel sheet. Now we're getting reports out that are meaningful and useful. So this is a pretty good example of how you could get that data into Project Planner Premium functionality, or what used to be called Project for the Web, which is still that in the Government Community Cloud. Okay. So that's the second level, getting things into the new planner. The third one is if you're taking this and moving it into Microsoft Project. So I'm going to open up Microsoft Project here, my desktop. Okay. Let's go into Project here. Oh, and let me just get out of that real quick. Go into Project. This, we have taken the Excel sheet and we've imported it directly into Microsoft Project now. So what we've done is Microsoft has an import mechanism where you can actually go into Project. This is the desktop professional client. Click on New. We go over here. You'll see there's a New from Excel workbook function built into the desktop client. And this is where I'm going to be able to pick, go to my schedules here, format, pick any of these I have. And it's going to go through a process of creating an import of the schedule, mapping it over, mapping the fields over. So it's going to create a project schedule for me from what I have in Excel. So what I've essentially done is it brings over the hierarchy, it brings over the duration, it brings over the dates. And if you had things like predecessors, it would bring those over. And then it can also bring over the resources if you had assigned them or mapped them as well. And what this is going to do, this is my formal scheduling tool on my desktop. So now I have full visibility into the entire schedule. But what I can also do with Project is I can create dependencies like we talked about before. We can create assignments. So if I wanted to go in and assign different people to different tasks, I could say I'm going to assign Sunny to this task, and I'm going to assign Sarah to this task. In traditional Microsoft Project scheduling, and based on their availability, it'll change or move potential dates because someone is more or less available. But what I can also do is I can do percent allocations. And this is one of the differentiators here between using the desktop client and the new Planner Premium. If I wanted to come in here and say for Sarah, I want to assign her at 50% of her time for this activity. And that's going to take, maybe we'll do duration of 10 days. You can be very, very specific about this. And then you can actually allow project to do some of those calculations in terms of how things are going to take. If I only have Sarah 50% of her time, instead of it taking 7 days, it's going to take 15 or 20 days based on her availability. So it's actually going to look at calendars and availability. But you can simplify this very much. The whole key here is you have the ability to assign resources, percent allocations, track progress and work here. And then you can save this locally. There are reports built into Microsoft Project around this as well. And you could also use your desktop client to do it too. But additionally, if you were back over in our web browser, and we can come over here, and we can come into project. Just going to come in here. And now we'd have a way to store all of our projects in one place in the Project Online 365 service, where we can look at multiple projects all in one place and drill into multiple schedules and look at multiple resources all in one place, really as an enterprise project and portfolio management tool set. And this is really giving you the ability to get to that upper right, the top level, where you're doing true portfolio and project and resource management beyond what you'd ever think of doing in Excel. Okay. So, we start thinking about if you're moving from Excel to one of these three technologies, a lot of it gets down to what you see on the right here, the level of detail you're looking to manage, who your user is, and the complexity of the work plans or the tasks or the schedules. We think about the first level here, with Planner, we have our new Planner with premium functionality, and we have Project Professional with the Project Online service. We're moving just to the base Planner. We can copy and paste the cells we have in Excel and move them over, or you could potentially build a Power Automate script that actually takes Excel spreadsheets and creates Planner plans from there. Again, what you're getting is the ability to have tasks and visualize those in different buckets. Those would represent your phases, assign them to people, have notifications and reminders. It's a really great way to get started. Collaborative work management. If we're looking at the new version of Planner with the premium functionality, what used to be Project for the Web, we can always take a project schedule we have in MPP and import it. We can take that Excel file, turn it into a project schedule, then import it directly into the tool, or we can copy and paste the cells we have directly in there as well. We have a couple of different options there. But with the new Planner premium functionality, we're looking at a full task and work plan, like we showed, all available through a browser. You've got different buckets for phases and people, but you also have the hierarchy for the different phases and people that you've got there. You've got Power BI for reporting out of the tool. And then you can also aggregate your data across projects and portfolios and resources like we showed you using the Power App and Power BI. So you have some great functionality to kind of take it to the next level and have more structured projects, but not overwhelmingly complex. If we do want to go with more of an enterprise type solution, that's where we're going to take our Excel schedule or schedules and any other content and data we have, move it into the project desktop client. And that kind of data is our full task and work plan, just like we have in Planner Premium. We have our Power BI reports. We have our projects, portfolios, and resources. We also have the ability to enable other capability to capture other data, issues and risks and deliverables, tie this into SharePoint, tie it into Teams with documentation. That's going to be your full kind of enterprise scheduling technology. So what direction you go really depends on the detail you have, the complexity, the readiness your users have, but you can definitely start kind of at a basic level and move your way up over time. So if you're thinking about getting off Excel, what are some of the key planning points to think about? There's really 5 of them we found. Really think about at the first point in the top middle, what are the business needs and the different group needs that use Excel today for project management? And maybe sit down with each one and spend some time doing some discovery. How do you use Excel? What are you looking to track? What's that information look like? Why is it important to making decisions? What are some of the gaps there? And do you have gaps in consistency? Is everybody creating different work plans and managing them separately? How about if we go to a more standard way you do it? You'll still have flexibility with the detail, but we'll use one tool that's not Excel. So we as an organization have control and access to that data, really importantly. The second thing is you want to review the current data you have. Take a look at those spreadsheets and look at the level of data that's there today. Is it simply tasks and dates? Do they put resources? Are they putting milestones? Are they putting notes in there? The schedule? What kind of information is in there? That's really going to help you drive what's the right tool for the job, whether it's one of the versions of Planner we talked about or Project. You also want to sit down and talk to your users, not only do discovery, but just let them vent and say what they like and don't like, what scares them about a project management tool, why do they use Excel, what other tools have they used before in the past that might be helpful, that may clue you in on what the right solution may be. You don't want to overwhelm your users. At the same time, you want to create some consistency and standardization. Also, it's always important to look at things like the licenses you have in place today. Are you already on M365 with an E3 or an E5? Do you have access to planner and project licenses today? What technology is available in your environment today? Are you just getting started, or has that been available for years? If you already have it, it's a great way to leverage existing investments and infrastructure, and a great way for IT to show more value by showing you better ways to use the tools you have. And finally, are we looking at just schedules? We talked about Excel just being the plan or the schedule. Is it more than that? Is it things like documentation on projects, having a central repository? Is it tracking issues and risks and changes and action items and key decisions and your RAID logs? What kind of metadata do you want to capture about your projects? Are you trying to capture KPIs in any way and progress? Are you doing any resource planning or time management? What else do you need to do really good project management within the user groups and categories you have in your business, and then use that to really inform where you're headed. So from a deployment perspective and adoption, really think about these 5 key areas, really driving some of your decisions on the right tools, and also think about piloting. Pick a group or two that's really open to leveraging the technology, that's maybe a little frustrated with Excel or knows it's not enough, and work on a pilot, a small defined pilot with a specific set of functionality, make it successful, make it available to other users, and get their feedback as well. And you'll start to iterate on that, because the 3 solutions we found a lot of organizations use all 3. You may have a formal PMO that's using Project Online and Microsoft Project Professional. You may have business groups that have business projects that are using the new Planner Premium. And you may have just folks in the business that are managing tasks and activities. They call them projects, but they may not really be formal projects. Maybe Planner is just fine for them. So think about the different options and everything that's available to you today. So hopefully that gave you a good overview of kind of what's possible when we talk about using Excel or moving away from Excel to manage your projects. We said, it is the most popular project management tool in the world for many, many reasons listed here. At this point, we're going to open the floor to questions. Annie?
Thanks for all that good information, Rob. Hopefully, folks learned not only the value of what a Microsoft work and project management solution can provide, but also how they can start to plan for transition to some of these technologies. We'll now open the floor to questions and answers. Remember to enter your questions in the questions and answer manager at the top of your team screen. Let's see if there's any questions in the queue. If someone wants to drop a question right now, we can address it. We'll give everyone a few more moments, then we'll move on. So how can Progility help you? If you're looking for assistance with project or PPM, think of us. We can help you with consulting, training, and adoption services to address your most pressing challenges with Microsoft solutions. Additionally, if you're looking to up your game with either Project for the Web or Project Online, we offer a series of pre-built solution accelerators that can make any implementation that much better. Reach out to us to explore these solutions or services to see how they could add value to your organization. If you're headed down the road with either piloting or implementing new Planner with the Power App, Progility has built a unique solution called Power Pro, specifically designed to help you accelerate your rollout, remove some of the limitations within the core platform, improve usability, and drive better adoption. It's also designed to include a set of reports we found most enterprises can use to measure performance and progress, including portfolio project status and resource reports. Best of all, it's available as a part of our core deployment services and at a one-time cost, so you aren't tied down to any of the recurring subscription fees many other partners require. It leverages the base level project and Planner One license, so you can keep your costs down while delivering a great solution. For more information, reach out and we'll provide additional details. We've also included a link to the solution on our website. You can find the solution on Microsoft AppSource. In closing, here are some great resources for you and your team if you'd like to learn more about these solutions. You can visit our YouTube page, which has a set of playlists ranging from client testimonials and best practice videos to a full library of focused recordings on topics like resource management, portfolio management, and project execution. Next, you can head over to our shiny new website at progility.com. It offers lots of content, including a Learn section with blogs and videos for the PMO and PPM community. We'd also recommend you visit the Project and Planner group on LinkedIn, which now has over 27,000 active members of a great interactive learning community. This is a public domain resource that everyone in the community has access to. Finally, if you have specific needs or questions, reach out to us. You can send an email to info@fragility.com and we'll set up time to talk through your needs, challenges, goals, and work together to develop solid solutions to meet your requirements. Thank you all again for joining our webinar today. We appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you online for our next session. Have a great day.